Hey guys, Jarek here, and welcome to my review of the SRC TT-33 Tokarev. On the Airsoft Tokarev, let's focus on the real steel variant. Now, I don't have any film of a real Tokarev, but I do have the next best thing. The game you're seeing here is called Red Orchestra 2. It's on PC only, and is an exclusive to Steam. Sorry console users, this game isn't coming to console ever. Just one more reason to become part of the PC master race. While most other games are focusing on trying to turn you into some sort of a super soldier where you can soak up bullets and be perfectly fine, Red Orchestra 2 uses vulnerability as a core mechanic. It takes all but one bullet to kill you, and there's a heavy suppression mechanic in this game that really forces you to have to use teamwork. When one simple tiny pistol caliber bullet hits a wall next to you, you really don't want to be there, let alone when a machine gun is shooting at you. The authenticity, the sound effects, the death animations, everything about this game really gives you a very tense feeling that you just don't want to be here. World War II was not a fun war. Red Orchestra 2 really drives home how nasty and brutal the war was, and it is by far the most immersive World War II shooter I've played. If you're comparing this game to other World War II shooters, stop comparing them right now. Nothing else plays like this game. This game is a highly recommended game for a reason. Enough about Red Orchestra 2 though. I love the game to death, but I'm mainly showing you this game to talk about the real Tokarev. And since this is a World War II pistol, it has a very rich history, so let's get started. The Tokarev is a single-action, automatic pistol firing the Russian 7.62 by 25mm cartridge. It was developed in the early 1930s by Fyodor Tokarev to replace the outdated Nagant 1895 revolver. Now, it never did fully replace the Nagant revolver, but it did see widespread use amongst the Russian troops. In virtually any battle that Russia was involved with during World War II, you could find a Tokarev somewhere. And even if Russia wasn't involved, countries like Finland pretty commonly picked up the Tokarev to use themselves. Externally, this gun shares a very shocking resemblance to John Browning's designed FN 1903 automatic pistol, and internally it uses the 1911 short recoil dropping barrel system. Other than that, this is a completely unique pistol designed by the Russians. Even after World War II, this gun continued to see very widespread use and still does today. A few countries that still use is made out of aluminum, the magazines are made out of steel. Given the fact that this gun is only around $100, I really didn't expect the external quality and the finish to be this good. Even the grips feel authentic. They're plasticky, light reflects off them, they don't feel like they'd break, but they definitely do give the illusion of being low quality, just like on the real Tokarev. And SRC even added the red star. Along with the red star, there are other trademarks on this gun. Most of it is in Russian characters and I honestly cannot read it. I'm sure someone in the comments will tell me what it actually says, but it will give you a number. This was a limited edition gun, only 300 models are made. This one was number 149 out of 300. As I said, like the real Tokarev, the side panels look and give the illusion of being somewhat cheap. However, they are very easy to replace. There's a metal arm on the inside that allows you to simply pop these out. I can't confirm anything, but it does look like real steel side panels will fit on this gun. At the most, you'll need some minor modification. You can find extra mags for around $20 to $25. Considering these are made out of steel, that's not that bad of a price. Before I got this gun, I read a lot of rumors saying the gas efficiency of these mags was absolutely terrible and you could barely get one mag out. Now the gas efficiency isn't absolutely amazing, but it wasn't that bad for me. I was able to get around 2 magazines out before I needed to refill. Given the fact that these magazines are even smaller than 1911 mags, that's not that bad. These magazines are classified as 12-round magazines. I would highly recommend you only load 10 rounds into the mag. If you load up any more, there's a possibility that on your first shot, the mag follower will lock at the bottom, and you'll be dry firing after that. Very similar to how KWA's mags work. I will say though that since these magazines are not double stacked, they're incredibly easy to load with a speed loader. If you needed to reload some of these mags on the field and you had a speed loader on you, I could see someone doing that in well under a minute. Since the mags are made out of steel, it sounds very similar to the way the real Tokarev would sound when you load in a new mag. The only thing that's missing is the kind of hollow metallic sound you get when you insert a new real steel mag. Somewhat small, but after using fairly thick gloves, I didn't even notice. So it definitely wasn't a problem. Adjusting the hop-up unit requires a small Allen wrench key. You lock the slide back, and then you slip the Allen wrench key into a hole above the chamber, and you can adjust your hop-up unit. I've never been a fan of these types of hop-up units. They're a pain to adjust, and they simply just seem to not do their job as well as they should. This one is no exception. It will put some spin on the BB, but it's definitely below average when it comes to hop-up units. It's better than not having a hop-up unit at all, but it definitely leaves a lot of room for improvement. This gun disassembles just like a real Tokarev. This is a good and a bad thing. This means you need to remove a metal piece on the right hand side of the gun that can be a little bit problematic, but other than that, it's fairly simple enough. I would highly recommend disassembling this as little as possible. The reason being is that this metal piece will scratch up the side of your gun. Once this metal piece is pushed back, you can pull out the slide release and it disassembles just like your standard 1911. With the slide pulled off, you can really see how this gun sort of scratches itself up. You can expect to see the same sort of wear and tear on other parts of the gun like the chamber. But hey, this is a World War II weapon. If you don't have any wear and tear on it, that just looks really strange. On another note, when you have the slide pulled back, you can sort of see how weak the recoil spring actually is. To put the gun back together, you do the same exact thing you did before, but in reverse order. This may be a little bit more difficult as you have to make sure the recoil spring and the recoil spring guide is in the correct placement, and getting that metal piece back into place on the right hand side is definitely a lot harder to do when putting it back into place rather than Not absolutely anything amazing, they're not adjustable in any way, they get the job done, and I really don't have any complaints with them. One thing I can say though is that the rear sight sticks up quite a bit and is, I'm not going to say sharp, but it's enough to snag. I did notice that while I was trying to pull it out of, say, a holster I had on my side, it did sort of snag on my shirt and snag on things that were there. Now, it wasn't horrible tangling snag or anything, but it's definitely something I wanted to point out. When I chronoed this gun, my chrono was being a little bit picky, but it was able to confirm that it shoots around 260 feet per second. This is definitely below average feet per second when it comes to gas blowback pistols, however, you do have to realize how incredibly small the magazines for this gun are. They're more narrow and smaller than 1911 mags, which are already more narrow than most other magazines as is. And I can confirm that the temperature outside had nothing to do with the below average feet per second. When I was testing this gun, it was 90 degrees Fahrenheit, or 32 degrees Celsius for you non-American viewers, which is well in perfect ranges for gas blowbacks to function properly. Before I continue on with the accuracy test, I should probably make clear what I consider to be a hit. Everything within this square is going to be a hit. The reason being is because I'm shooting at small 22 targets. You're never going to have to shoot at targets this small when you're on the field. You're going to be shooting at a whole human-sized body. So anything inside of this square is a hit. When I took this gun back to 100 feet, it took a few shots for me to kind of get used to where the gun was shooting, but once I did, it was very easy to hit the target, and I couldn't justify having to shoot it anymore. So at 100 feet, you're definitely going to hit your target. When I took this gun back to 150 feet, it became very apparent that this gun simply doesn't have the velocity to accurately reach out that far. About 20 feet before the target, the BBs were starting to arc and fall down, which you can see very clearly in the footage. What that means is that this gun's max range is 130 feet, but the hop-up unit isn't good enough to be accurate at that range, so its max effective range is around 100 to 115 feet. For its feet per second, that's not that bad, but you're definitely not going to be blowing anyone else's gas blowback pistol out of the water. If anything, to be completely honest, this gun is a little bit below average when it comes to performance. When it comes to this gun, you're in a little bit of a conundrum. The externals have nailed the Tokarev down. It looks very authentic, it feels very real. I'm very impressed with what SRC has done. The only thing they could possibly do to make it look a little bit more like a Tokarev was change the paint just a little bit to kind of have that blue matte finish. However, it's so close that I'm not really going to complain about that. What I will complain about though is that the performance is just a little bit lacking. It's not good enough to really have it be desirable on the field, at least not performance-wise, but it's not bad enough to really make it so that you can't use it on the field. It really leaves this gun with a very specific role. You don't have much choice when it comes to a Russian sidearm, so if you're trying to do a World War II reenactment, this is basically your only option. That or KWA, and I get asked a lot, should I get the KWA or should I get the SRC? Well, here's the thing, KWA has the exact opposite problem that the SRC does. The externals are completely atrocious on the KWA model. They use this shiny, glossy paint that wears off fairly quickly, it has a plastic polymer barrel, the side panels have a possibility of breaking and simply don't look very good. Externally, it does a disservice to the Tokarev, but it performs better than the SRC does. So what do you take? Do you take performance or authenticity? In this specific spot, I'm going completely with the SRC model. I have to give SRC a lot of credit for how well they replicated the Tokarev. It's easily in my top 5 most authentic list. So the final question, should you buy it? Is this worth your money? Given the below average performance and all the negative things I said about this gun, I'm still going to go ahead and say yes, this is definitely worth buying. It's not like the performance is so bad that it's completely unusable. It's still usable, it's just not going to blow anyone else's gun out of the water and is just below what we consider average. What you're getting is a near perfect replication of the Russian Tokarev for only $100. Is that worth your money? Hell yes. That about sums up my review of the SRC TT-33 Tokarev. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.
even.
Wimbles, look up.
What?
How did you manage that?
I don't know. I can't revive him.
I can't. Oh shit, I'm down.
Hey guys, Jarek here, and
I want to be the objective too.
Raptor and Komodo here too. We're just kind of screwing around downtown. I still like how the biggest tourist attraction in all of Portland is a donut shop. Show me the donuts you got. Don't throw them, show me them. This is the fattest maple bar.
Yeah, I don't remember it being that big.
I got this mainly to make Drake jealous. Bacon maple bar.
You eat half of that. I'll grab the other one later. You dropped that.
I like how you're holding it like, what do I do with this?
Thing is a shit. I love it.